We are in Pause and Practice 2-1 in Excel 2019, and this is on page 102 in your binder. For this project, you build formulas in a Paradise Lakes Resort worksheet. You use mixed and absolute references, a 3D reference, and set an order of precedence. You also name cell ranges and use auditing tools. So the first thing we need to do is open Paradise Lakes-02 workbook from the student data files. So we're going to do that. Paradise Lakes 02, open that. Okay, and then you're going to rename it. So File, Save As, Browse. Make sure you save it in the correct place in your Chapter 2 completed lessons. It's your initials, and then space PP space E2-1, and then click Save. Alright, make sure that it is renamed correctly up here, and then we will begin. So the first thing we're going to do is enter and copy an addition formula. So click on B10, so here's column B, row 10, right next to where it says rental revenues and April. And you always start a formula with the equals sign. So press equals, and then you're going to click cell B5 here to insert the first rental item in the formula. Then type the plus sign as the mathematical operator, then click cell B7 to add the second rental item. So B7 right here. And we're choosing them because they say rentals, room and cabin rentals, and then equipment rentals. So click that, and then press enter, and it gives you a result of 5,758, which is right here. Now select cell B10, so go back up there, and you're going to use the fill handle to copy the formula. So the fill handle is this little tiny square in the lower right corner. So just hover until it becomes like a plus sign, and then click and drag it across. And it's going to copy the formula that was in this. So now the formula is in each of these. So this one was B5 plus B7 here. And then if you look at this one, it's C5 plus C7 because it's for this column. And then D5 plus D7 and so on. Alright, so now you have the formula in C10 to H10. C10 all the way over to H10 here. Alright, now pause the video and you do this in your project. Okay, now we are on step 4, create and copy a 3D formula with absolute cell references. So you're going to select cell B15, so here's B, and 15 is right here. So it says administrative and April. Alright, administrative expense is calculated by multiplying the total revenue for the month by a set percentage. And here's the total revenue, so I bet we're going to be using that information. So first thing you have to do is type the equal sign to start the formula, equals, and then you're going to click B11, which is the total revenue for April, B11, oh, just like I said. Alright, and then you type the asterisk sign, so Shift 8. It's also called the star, I guess. And that is what you use for multiplication on the computer. Now you need to go to the Rates and Tables tab, which is down here. Click on that, and that inserts the name of that sheet into the formula. So you have B11 times rates and tables. And when you insert a sheet, it has a single quotation mark on either side. Maybe it's an apostrophe, instead. And then an exclamation point. And then you click on cell in this worksheet, the rates and tables. You click on cell G2, which is the percentage for administrative expenses. So G2. All right, and it added that to the formula. And then what you need to do is press your F4 key. F4. And you see how that put dollar signs before the G and before the 2. That makes it an absolute reference. In your directions for number 4G, where it says press F4 and then in parentheses it says FN plus F4, don't worry about that. That is for a different version of the software, and we're using Excel 2019, and that's for like the next version of it. So don't worry about it whenever it says that. Alright, press your enter key, and it brought you back over here to where you had been entering the formula in the first place, and it should say 587.12. And then select cell B15, so select that cell again, and then you're going to drag the fill pointer to copy the formula to cell C15 to G15. So go down to that little green square, hover until it becomes a plus sign, click, and then drag it across all the way to G15. So that is the September one. Don't go to totals. And you can see, alright, so if we click on B15, it says equals B11 times rates and tables, and then absolute reference G2. If we click on this one, C11 times rates and tables, absolute value G2. It always has the G2 no matter where you do it. That's why it's called an absolute value. It means it always uses that value. Okay, next we're going to do step 5, which is on page 103. Create and copy a 3D formula with mixed references. So select B16, so B16. Management expense is calculated by multiplying the total revenue for the month by the set percentage. So type equals to start the formula. Then click on B11, total revenue. And then press the F4, and that will make that total revenue an absolute reference. So F4, so it changed it from B11 to $B, $11, and it's here, but it's also up here. This is the formula bar. Alright, then you're going to press F4 again, and you see it got rid of one of the dollar signs. It got rid of the dollar sign before the B, and that causes it to be called a mixed reference, because only the row reference will be absolute. Rows are by number, columns by letter. So the column, which is the B, will not be absolute, but the row is absolute, row 11. Alright, now type the multiplication sign, which is the asterisk, so Shift 8, then click on the Rates and Tables Sheet tab to put that in, and you see that has been added to your formula. Then click on G3, which is the management percent. Okay. And then you have to make that absolute reference, so press F4. And then press the F4 again, changes it to $G3. So in this case, the column is absolute, but the row is not. So the column will always be this, but it's not necessarily the row. All right, so now press your Enter key. It takes you back over to your Cass Lake worksheet and finishes the formula. And the amount that should be showing there is $1,100.85. And you can see here's your formula. And then you're going to copy that formula all the way over to C16 to G17. So what you need to do, what they want you to do, select cell B16, which is here, and then drag the fill pointer down to B17 here. Keep those two selected, and then drag the fill pointer across. So it copies all the formulas all the way across. So if you look at these formulas, we have this one. Now if we click on the one below it, B11, which is total revenue, times going to the rates and tables sheet. So rates and tables. All right, rates and tables sheet, and then it changed to column G, row 4. So if we go to rates and tables, column G, row 4, right here, is the operational percentage, and that's what we were calculating for this operational, see? All right. So now, if you were not following along, pause the video and do that step yourself. That was step 5. All right, now we are ready for step 6, which is on page 104. You're going to use formula auditing tools. So click on cell D17, D17 here is lit up here, and 17 is lit up over here. All right, so you want to see how the mixed reference formula has been copied. So what you do is you go to the Formulas tab, Formula Auditing Group here, Formula Auditing, and then click on the Trace Precedence button there. And you see it draws these arrows, and the reason it draws the arrows is to show you where the information came from for this formula that's in this cell. And it tells you that it came from cell D11, which is the total revenue for June, but then it also came from another worksheet, and that's why it has this little icon and then a dotted line. All right, so now you can click on remove arrows and make that go away. Then if you click on the show formulas here, it shows you the formulas that are in each of the different cells on here. And you can make sure everything is correct. The only thing it doesn't do is show you the number formatting. All right, and then click show formulas to make it go away. All right, so now you can try that. Okay, now we are on page 105, step number 7, edit a formula and correct an error. So we're going to select cells H15 through H18. H15 here to H18. So 15 down to 8. And click the Auto Sum button. And that is on the Home tab, the Editing group over here. And it is this right here is Auto Sum. click on that, and then just click on the funny looking. All right, and it fills in the information for each one. And then you need to, you see these hashtags or pound signs, whatever you want to call them. That indicates that the column is not wide enough for the whole number to show. So you just go up here and drag it out a little bit to make the column wider. And then double click on cell H16. So H16, this one, double click on it, and that puts it into editing mode. And you need to edit the cell range to display B15 to G16 instead of B16 to G16. So you can do that here, or you can do it up here. It doesn't matter. They want you to change it to B15. So click 15. You can see it here as well. And press enter. All right, so that created an error in the formula. And what you do, it shows you that with this little tiny green triangle, that means that there is an error. So if you click on each the error is, then it brings up this yellow diamond with an exclamation point in it. That's called the trace error button. So click that, and it shows you what the problem is, formula, and then it gives you options for how to fix it. And they want you to just copy formula from above. All right, so it copied the formula from above and it fixed it. So now keep that selected and go up to the trace precedence. So go to formulas, trace precedence. You can see that it displays the correct cells, right? And then remove arrows to make that go away. That's it for that part. Okay, we are still on page 105. We are on step 8, set mathematical order of operations. So select cell B21 next to where it says profit margin. Profit margin as a percentage is revenue minus expenses divided by revenue. So the formula is equals B11 minus B19 divided by B11. And you have to put the B11 minus B19 in parentheses so that the subtraction is done before the division. So to start the formula, you do your equals sign, and then you do a left parenthesis. Okay. Then you click on cell B11, which is the total revenue for April, and then you press the hyphen sign for subtraction, and then click B19, which is the total expenses for April, and then you do your right parenthesis, and then a slash for divide, and then B11 again, and then press enter. And it automatically formats this as accounting number format, because so that it matches the cells that it came from. So what you need to do is click on that cell again and change it to percent style. So you go to home and the percent, and it's 24%. All right, and then you're going to copy that formula from B21 all the way over to G21. So go to your fill pointer, drag across, G21. All right, and they are all percents. Okay, we are almost finished with Pause and Practice 2-1. We are on page 106. Step number 9, name a cell range. So select cell H11, which is right here. So it's the total revenue for all those months. And go up here. This is the name box. See, it says H11, because that's the cell that we're in. Click on that and type total revenue with no space in between the two words, but you do capitalize revenue. So total, and then press enter. So from now on, this cell will be named total revenue. Now select cells B11 to G11, B to G11, those. And you're going to do this, you're going to name that cell range differently. So you go to the Formulas tab, Defined Names group, and click the Define Name button here. So you can see here it has Cass Lake is the worksheet, and it's cells B11 to G11, and it automatically made them an absolute cell reference. You need to change the name to monthly rev. You see how even though when you typed over in the name box you didn't put a space, it puts the space in. So for this one it is monthly rev, and since you're doing it this way you have to put the underscore for the space. So monthly underscore rev, and the underscore is shift and then the hyphen key. Click OK. Now click on cell A1. Click the name box. This is the name box. This time you're going to click the name box arrow. So A1, click the name box arrow and choose total revenue. Automatically goes down and chooses cell H11 because that is its name, total revenue. And then go back up and click the name box arrow again and choose monthly rev. It selects all of these from B11 to G11 because that is the monthly revenues. Alright, so now all you have to do is a little bit of number formatting. So B16 to H18, B16 to H18. So those, and you need to make them comma style. So go to Home, choose the comma, but then you need to decrease the decimal 2 times. So basically it's going to get rid of the cents on these. So you just have to make sure you choose the correct one of these. It's this one, 2. And see, it got rid of the decimal for those. And then select B15 to H15, B15 to H15, and decrease the decimal 2 times on those, but you're not going to change them to comma. You're going to leave them as accounting so they have the dollar signs. All right, and then that's it. And then you just press Control Home, Control, save and close your workbook file. Save here, or you could do a Control S.